I'm Clayton, and these are my Herbies. This car is my jewel. This is my daily driver car. A lot of people have like a modern car or a car that's 5 years old or 10 years old or 2 years old as their daily driver. I'm one of the few people that actually drive an old Beetle as their daily driver still to this day. And this car was sold from Gorman McCracken Volkswagen in Longview, Texas in 1963 for $1,650, and the original owner is Russell Lee, and he is 94 years old and still in an Abilene nursing home and still sharp as a tack. He worked for the U.S. Department of Agriculture through the 60s, 70s, and through the 80s. And this was his, if you want to call it, company car. He covered 4 states, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas, and Louisiana. And he had to keep logbooks for the government. He logged, over that many years, he logged 600,000 miles on this car. He would wear a motor out, have it rebuilt, he'd document everything, and so he's got receipts from everywhere. And besides being his company car, this was his family car. He told me stories about him and his wife and daughter. His daughter was so small she would be in the back cubby hole behind the back seat, and they would go through like Death Valley, California, and be in New York and just everywhere, so it's kind of cool. So I kept the logbooks going when I bought the car from him in 2005, and to this date I have 1,041,000 on the chassis. So I have kept it going. So it's a joy to drive. People ask me all the time, am I scared to go that far on a drive? And I said no, because I drive the car 45 to 50,000 miles a year anyway. When people should be nervous is when they don't drive their cars a lot. If something's going to break, normally it's, statistically it'll break around here because I drive it all the time. I drive about 1,000 miles a week on average, and it's fun, reliable transportation. The car is basically stock, other than I have upgraded to a 12 volt. I did run a 1600, upgraded from a 40 horse years ago. I just did that because the 40 horse gave up the ghost, and I had a 1600 that I built with a friend of mine, Lonnie Henderson in Austin, and who has since passed away, but he was the first one to help me rebuild my first motor. And just to do something a little different, I say stock, it's not stock for a 63, but it is Volkswagen factory stock of the last year model they built in Mexico in the summer of 2003. I actually have a Mexican Beetle fuel injection 1600 cc. It's rated a 44 horse fuel injection engine in this, but it's still 100% factory, it's just later factory. The one on your right is one from the actual Love Bug movie. There were 11 cars built, and this is car number 10, which in the Love Bug that came out in 1969 was known as the stunt car. So any scene that it had to crash through trees or go off of a cliff, that was what they used. This car was for that. So you can tell it's in junky shape. I bought the car in 2016. Met a gentleman in Effingham, Illinois at the Mid-America Motorworks Fun Fest. we became friends, kept in touch, and found out he had this car and got the car. And so he restored it back to Love Bug. This car was used in the Love Bug, car number 10, and it was also recycled in Herbie Rides Again in 1974 as a junkyard car in the Bug Army scene at the end of the movie. In that one, it shows this car going off of a junk pile, and they actually had wheel spacers that were offset to make it kind of wobble. And so this car is pretty beat up, but it's one of the very few original left where you have the original paint. This car has never been repainted since it was used in the film. And this is the actual decal that was from 1968 when they filmed it. And it's just a neat survivor. The glove box has Dean Jones, the actor that was in there, his signature, Buddy Hackett, Michelle Lee, and it's just kind of a cool car. This car is actually, Herbie was always portrayed as a 1963 ragtop, but this car, I guess due to budget, I guess they sent people out and said, bring in a lot of Beatles and make it look like a Herbie, and the production people would do that. This is actually a 1957 oval window, and as y'all know, 1958 they increased that back window size and the front windows too. But on this one, they cut the back out to make it look like a 63 style window. So they've, it's definitely a chopped car, but it is a 1957 on the title.